Welcome back to more Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Last time we got through the Moon Cup, so this time we're starting Wave 4 of the DLC tracks. For this first cup, we'll be playing as Yoshi, for reasons that'll be obvious later. We'll be using our standard cart configuration, and next up is the Fruit Cup. First up is Amsterdam Drift from Mario Kart Tour. If I'm being honest, Wave 4 doesn't put its best foot forward. This is definitely one of the more visually flat stages of this current DLC wave, and it feels like every wave so far has had at least one track that felt a little bit off. I still actually have a soft spot for this stage though, because of my time playing Mario Kart Tour. This was actually one of my preferred city tracks in that game. But again, I almost feel like certain tracks don't translate super well to Mario Kart 8's visual style, and this is definitely one of them. Again, every wave has had at least one visually iffy track, it feels like. I know Toad Circuit was very heavily criticized for Wave 1, and last wave, Rock Rock Mountain was also kind of dicey in terms of some of the texture work. Parts of Amsterdam Drift look fine, but some of the background detailing does look a little bit flat. Still though, I actually like this track quite a bit. This is actually a unique wave for having 3 city tracks instead of 2, which is definitely a very polarizing choice given that a lot of people don't really like the city tracks. I actually do like them a bit, but I do admit some of them can be a little bit weak. That was unfortunate, going from red shell to blue shell right back to back, so I didn't have the horn. I should have kept the horn if I had noticed it on the minimap. This definitely feels like a very cursed start to Wave 4, unfortunately, so we'll have to see if we can finish strong for our first race. But overall, I actually like Wave 4 quite a bit. I'll go over this more later on, but in a lot of ways, I think Wave 4 might be the most consistent wave, even though I still think it'll be hard to top 3DS Rainbow Road. Though, to be fair, rumors and data mining is to be believed, maybe they will find a way, but I won't say anything else because I know not everyone wants to see, like, spoilers. But yeah, I have hope for Wave 5 and 6. We also have a new character. We'll be playing as her next time, actually. But for thematic relevance, I wanted to play as Yoshi for the Fruit Cup. Both because Yoshi eats fruit in a lot of games, and also for the final track of this wave. We somehow managed to get first, even though the first part of that race definitely did not go as well as it could have. Next up is Riverside Park from Mario Kart Super Circuit. I have mixed feelings about this track, like I do with a lot of the GBA tracks. It's partly because it's a GBA track and Super Circuit's just kind of a weird game inherently. Like, I have more nostalgia for Super Circuit than most, I feel, because it was my first Mario Kart, but I would not admit that I would not say it was like a good Mario Kart because of how slippery everything felt. Also, a lot of the GBA tracks are pretty short inherently, and they were actually shortened in Tour. Like, a lot of the sharper turns were actually smoothed out, making a lot of the GBA courses feel very, like, straightforward. Like, a good example is Sky Garden from Wave 1, where a lot of the turns were actually removed or, like, changed enough that it definitely felt less interesting overall. Riverside Park is no exception, and also another problem I have with this track is there's a more interesting variation of this track in Super Circuit. I don't remember the name, but I remember this track super vividly. Basically, you have a volcano in the background, and there's one really cool / annoying part where you have to, like, jump over a part of the track that's like a loop. If you fell, you had to, like, go through this loop again, so it was very punishing, but this was like a special cup stage, so it was very fitting for it to be very punishing for the final cup, if I'm remembering correctly. By the way, now that Nintendo Switch Online has Game Boy Advance games, I guess you could play Super Circuit, though, again, that game has not aged well. It's like Super Mario Kart, where it feels very, like, loose in terms of, like, drifting. I don't even feel like there is drifting in the traditional sense. It's more like you hop and then careen into a wall. At least that was my memories, how my memories of Super Circuit were in general. We also have, like, these little patooies, I think that's what they're called, carrying items, and that's a new mechanic to this wave. So we'll have to see if that comes back later on in the Booster Course Pass. They drop mushrooms, barely avoided that one, and we should be good to go. The GBA tracks tend to be kind of scary because if something goes wrong, you have like no time to recover because of how ridiculously short a lot of these are. Our third track of the Fruit Cup is DK Summit from Mario Kart Wii, and this has been a recurring sentiment throughout this playthrough, but unfortunately I feel a little bit mixed about this track for a couple of reasons. Visually, I think it does look a little bit better than Amsterdam. I think some of the trees in the background and the very flat audience are kind of like interesting choices. But one thing I actually don't like about this track, weirdly enough, is the entire time I was playing it the first time, I was kind of thinking, man, I really wish I could be playing DK Mountain from Double Dash instead. This is not a bad track, for the record, but I grew up with Double Dash too, so I have more nostalgia for that one, though to be fair, that could also show up later on, there's still plenty of time. In general, a lot of this layout does remind me of DK Mountain though, like this little slalom section here, the cannon at the beginning. Yeah, a lot of it does feel very reminiscent. I also feel like there's not really a great way to get through some of the snowfield with the Shy Guy snowboarders and these patches of snow that slow you down. I tend to use that ramp to just get past the snowbank there. That bomb somehow worked, I'm actually a bit amazed. And similar to Mushroom Gorge, I kind of feel like I have really cursed luck, case in point, on the Wii tracks specifically. I don't know what it is about the Wii tracks. Maybe it's just the ghost of Mario Kart Wii and the really weird item RNG continuing to haunt me to this day. Yeah, for some reason I get the worst item luck in Mario Kart Wii stages in this Booster Course Pass. Coconut Mall wasn't that bad, but this is the one time I actually did have to redo a stage for the 3-star. Because I did get hit by a blue shell at the very last part of the race and had to do the entire cup over again. So yeah, it's just a thing for the Wii tracks that I have really bad item luck. But again, that game has really weird items in the first place, so again, it's kind of fitting in a way. If I'm going to have random blue shell at the last moment, it would be in the Wii course. But yeah, overall this isn't bad, it's just, yeah, I kind of feel like DK Mountain's more interesting. The aesthetics are cool though, again, it's very visually unique. I like the statue of DK over there. I really wish you could swap items at a time like this. I would like to keep the horn, but I also would really like to get first. But I do see a blue shell over there, so I guess I could just sit tight and we should be good to go, because Toad will be taken out by that, so we can pass him by hopefully. Or I could also get hit by the blue shell. At this point I'm willing to use the blue shell anyway, because we'll probably not have another blue shell in the very brief time of this course remaining. So I'm willing to take a chance and actually get a defensive item as we slip into first place. And of course, knowing my luck, I get a coin. Let's see if we can pull this off. No last minute red shells, please. And we're good to go. So yeah, that actually went really smoothly other than that little section towards the end where it got a little bit scary. But yeah, overall, that was not too bad. Our final track for the Fruit Cup is Yoshi's Island, from Mario Kart Tour technically, but it is another pseudo-original track. This is already being hailed as the standout of Wave 4, or potentially the Booster Course Pass in general, actually. This is themed after Yoshi's Island, obviously, and I adore this track. I love Yoshi's Island. It's one of my favorite games, actually. Someday I would love to do a Let's Play of it, but I don't want to put myself through getting 100%, so I'm trying to figure out the best way to go about a playthrough of Yoshi's Island. But we basically go through several segments that are themed around different parts of Yoshi's Island. So you start out with this little like grassy area, you go through like a little quick jungle, to an underwater castle, to the sky. So yeah, basically it's designed to encapsulate everything from Yoshi's Island. We have a Blarg in the background, we have this little item cloud. If you hit it, it'll cause a little path to appear that you can go across, and it even makes the sound of the path appearing. The coins are the Yoshi coins from that game. Oh yeah, the path goes through the goal ring too, which is very cool. We have the Stilt Shy Guys and the ones that have the little flowers. There's so much attention to detail on the stage. Again, I do think this might be the standout of this wave for sure, but yeah, it makes a very strong impression. The music is phenomenal. It's a remix of the Athletic theme, which is actually one of my favorite Athletic themes of any Mario game, like, no joke. If I had any criticism for it, is it still feels very tour in the standpoint of it being kind of linear. Like, there's not a lot of shortcut potential, other than hitting the item cloud. Let's see if we can get it this time. So yeah, we have this little shortcut path here as a blue shell approaches, but again, I'd rather get a blue shell at the end of lap 2 to hopefully set it up that we won't get hit by a blue shell at lap 3. Again, 2 blue shells can happen, but it's not super common. We also have the little enemies there that you can gather and throw. I actually don't remember the names of all the enemies in Yoshi's Island. Again, as much as I love Yoshi's Island, it has been a bit since I've played it. I grew up with the Game Boy Advance version, actually, because I never had a Super Nintendo. I never did get through all the bonus stages, though, because I didn't ever complete the game. Yeah, I've actually never completed Yoshi's Island, just because of how ridiculous a lot of it is. And also, like, for the Super Nintendo version, you also have to worry about item despawning, which is just great. So yeah, Yoshi's Island is a game I love casually, 100%. Someday I would love to get 100%, but not anytime soon, because I value my sanity. But with that, we have completed the Fruit Cup. That actually went really smoothly. I'm glad it did, to be honest. There was another blue shell, luckily after we crossed the finish line, and we get a big band arrangement of the Yoshi's Island fanfare, and it definitely... This is just a chorus that, like... I don't know how to describe it, but this course just makes me really happy as someone who grew up with Yoshi's Island. There's so much love poured into this, and I am really happy that this course exists at all, to be honest. I'll be honest, I was kind of hoping the highlight reel would be of Yoshi's Island so we could see more of it at cool dynamic camera angles, but that's fine. Overall, Fruit Cup is actually really fun in my opinion. Again, Amsterdam Drift visually looks a bit off, but it's still fun to play through, and again, Riverside Park is a little bit too truncated, but the other two are actually relatively fine. And Yoshi's Island is a standout. And once again, we have a 3-star completion of the Fruit Cup. So we have one more track for Wave 4, or one more cup for Wave 4, and to be completely honest, I don't remember the name of it. I almost never remember the name of the DLC cups, because I'm used to like the classic set and then the retro set, but having like this many extra cups, I do not remember what these all are. But we'll tackle that next time to finish up Wave 4. So thank you for watching, and I hope you'll join me next time for more Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.